I see so many faces that I recognize here, and I know you do all as well. You have all had such an impact on our city, and today you have the power to truly transform care and be a part of the lasting legacy for future generations.
And I look around this beautiful room and I see all the many different tables. It kind of reminds me of community. Each table is a sample of our community, and our community is coming together this morning to support the Ottawa Hospital.
I think the President's Breakfast is extremely valuable because most of the funds raised here today will go to leading edge research.
I was looking for a way to give back, and just coincidentally I got invited to the second annual President's Breakfast in 2003. And after that, found it such an inspirational event. I became a table captain for a few years and then co-chaired this lovely event with Jim Durrell for 4 years.
It's my first time hosting a table. I invited some family, some friends, and some colleagues because I have no doubt that they will also be inspired when they leave here this morning.
So I would become the second patient in the world to undergo this protocol, a bone marrow transplant for MS here at the Ottawa Hospital. So here we are today. I'm not a bank president, but my life is better than incredible, thanks to the innovative advancements at the Ottawa Hospital.
That's what this morning is all about, and how together we can build a stronger hospital and a stronger community.
Good afternoon, everyone. What an inspiring video. My name is Tim Kluk. I'm President and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital Foundation, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our call this afternoon. I don't know if you felt it, but I think fall is in the air this morning. We're 4 weeks away from our President's Breakfast on September 29th. Like you, we have been adapting to this crazy pandemic and kind of navigating in this strange new reality. As a foundation, we also had to respond in the past number of months. And what we saw was an incredible community, a generous community that wanted to do something. They wanted to make an impact as we were living in these unprecedented times. As a foundation, we created something called the COVID-19 Emergency Response Fund. And this fund, in a short period of time, based on the generosity of a wonderful community, over $2 million was raised to support the Ottawa Hospital. We also put in a mechanism working with our physicians and our researchers, a way to identify critical projects that were going to move key initiatives forward to benefit our staff. So we created this fund that supported the acquisition of PPE, vital equipment, and also innovative research that could impact COVID-19. And thrilled that through this process, we were able to identify 175 projects across the hospital and the Research Institute, and vetted those projects to fund those that had the greatest impact, to put donor dollars to work. So incredibly, the community has really made a statement about the importance of the Ottawa Hospital. As I reflect on this pandemic, I think it's really reinforced the importance of our commitment to the future and investing in the future. So plans like replacing our aging civic hospital, I think, have never been more important. We realized during this time the critical role that the Ottawa Hospital plays in our region, the leadership role that we play to ensure the safety and the health of our residents in Ottawa and the surrounding area. Like you and many of you who conduct businesses, during this time, you've had to make some difficult decisions. And we as a foundation have made many difficult decisions as well. One of those was to cancel our signature events for the year. And we made that decision very early on as we anticipated that social distancing would be continuing for an extended period of time. But we canceled everything but our President's Breakfast. So as you can only appreciate, it's absolutely critical that this event is successful this year. And I think importantly, really important, the role that you play as an ambassador to help us make this event the most successful it's ever been. We know no boundaries this year. We're virtual, and we look forward to really welcoming the community to support this such a critical and important venture for us called the President's Breakfast. So thank you again. We recognize there are many great charities out there for you to be supportive of, but please know we appreciate it, but we also never take it for granted. So it's my pleasure now to introduce our two co-chairs for the President's Breakfast, Cyril Leader and Janet McKee.
Thanks, Tim. And thank you to each of you for acting as ambassadors this year for our 19th President's Breakfast. Bienvenue à tous et merci d'être parmi nous pour compte à rebours. And as Tim said, what an experience we've all been through these past few months. To say it's been challenging would be a severe understatement. But I want to echo what Tim has said, that it's been extremely inspiring to see how our community of Ottawa has stepped up to show support and appreciation for the work going on in the front line by our team at the Ottawa Hospital. And as we all know now, COVID-19 has changed the way we live our lives, how we work and how we interact with each other. And as Tim mentioned, many fundraising events have had to be canceled this year all across the city. How vital and crucial the present success of the Ottawa Hospital. That's why canceling the event was never a consideration. It's such an inspiring. And our friends at the Ottawa Hospital Foundation have been putting together a unique production unlike anything you've seen before. It's going to be exciting. I can assure you it will not be your typical Zoom call. You can expect a mixture of fun, some surprises, but most of all, what we really hope will come through is that we'll be able to demonstrate the tremendous skill and the compassionate care that's on display every day at the Ottawa Hospital. And ultimately, that's why we, and I say the collective we, are coming together. You, myself, Janet, the foundation, our networks, the entire community. Our support is crucial to ensuring that the Ottawa Hospital is able to continue to provide the world-class care that it's become known for and continue to attract the best and brightest minds from around the world. Il va sans dire que montrer notre appui n'a jamais été plus important. And in closing, I just want to say again how grateful and thankful Jen and I both are that you've agreed to take up this challenge with us to help make the breakfast on September 29th a tremendous success. We want to thank you, our frontline team, for the crucial work you're doing to reach out to your networks. And I want to say a special thank you at this time to Ian Sterling and his team at Doherty & Associates. They're returning once again as our title sponsor, so thank you to Ian and your team. And to all of you, again, a big thank you. I look forward to working with you on the 29th to make the breakfast a big success. I'm turning it over now to my co-chair again this year, Janet McKee. Janet?
Thanks, Cyril. I'm super excited to be volunteering with you again this year as co-chair of this fantastic event. Cyril mentioned how important this fundraising breakfast is to the Ottawa Hospital each year. This is the 19th anniversary of the President's Breakfast. Over those years, community members like you have donated close to $12 million. This generosity has helped transform the kind of care delivered to patients and has advanced research to help save lives. These past few months have made us all grateful to have a world-class hospital right here in our own city. We would only want the best care for ourselves and for our loved ones, and that's what this breakfast helps the Ottawa Hospital achieve. It's important for all of us to know truly what Cyril said. Canceling was not an option. In order to achieve this high standard of care, we need donations from our community. Beyond the latest and greatest tools and technology, research is fundamental to advancements in care. Research is allowing the Ottawa Hospital to be one of the best hospitals in the country, and your generosity makes that a reality. In just a few minutes, we're going to hear about one particular research project which is about to enter the clinical trial phase. You'll hear about the dedication and perseverance from one scientist whose dream is to give premature babies a better chance of not only survival, but living long and healthy lives. It's these stories that help motivate us to reach out to our colleagues, our friends, our network, and invite them to the President's Breakfast on September 29th. This afternoon, we're here to get a glimpse of what you might expect. Call it a teaser. But rest assured, you'll be motivated when you leave this virtual meeting this afternoon. That's our promise to you. I'd now like to welcome our very first guest of the afternoon. I'm thrilled to introduce to you the new president and CEO of the Ottawa Hospital, Cameron Love. Cameron, congratulations. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Janet, for the kind introduction. C'est un réel plaisir d'être ici avec vous cet après-midi. As many of you know, this is my first President's Breakfast countdown as President and CEO, and it's a tremendous honor and pleasure for me to be here today to talk to you for a few minutes about the future of the Ottawa Hospital. I've had the privilege of getting to know many of you over the years, and for those of you I haven't met, I look forward to hopefully having the opportunity to meet you in person over the coming year. I grew up in Kingston, and after completing a master's here in Ottawa, I got the opportunity to work at a couple of hospitals across the province, as well as the Ministry of Health and Long-Term Care, before returning to Ottawa in 1998, the year the Ottawa Hospital was merged and created through a forced merger of 4 organizations within the city. Those first 5 to 10 years were a pretty challenging time for our organization. We were trying to implement the directions of the merger, consolidate programs between campuses, and really trying to create a unified culture between 4 very distinct organizations. But after a decade, we had tremendously stabilized. We had expanded many programs, we had strengthened them, we had consolidated them between campuses, we had created a very good research platform, and we really had engaged the physicians and the staff in our journey. And it was at that time that my predecessor and great friend, Jack Kitts, decided to take us on a slightly different direction, which was to focus on what mattered most to people when they're sick, which is patient-centered care. And I would suggest to you that over the last decade, we have created one of the best patient-centered care organizations in all of Canada. Today, though, I have the tremendous honor of leading our TOH team through the next healthcare transformation, which I believe is going to be at an unprecedented scale. As both Cyril and Tim have said, the last 6 months have presented a lot of challenges, not only for our hospital and our team, but for this community, the province, the nation, and the globe in general, as we all try and manage through this pandemic. But we have, over the last 6 months, really stabilized as a hospital and figured out how to manage in the pandemic. Most importantly, though, is between our research team and research teams across the globe, I am very confident we are going to find the next vaccine for COVID-19, and we will get through this. And as we look to the future, post-COVID-19, we are at a really exciting time within this community for healthcare. And there are really 3 main drivers that I believe are going to transform healthcare for this community. Probably first and foremost and most exciting is the development of the new Civic Campus. This by far will be the most advanced and largest hospital development in Canada. And it will be probably the key piece that is going to transform healthcare in this city for the next 50+ years. Second, we will continue to expand our research and innovation platform, which is absolutely critical for us to advance as a community and revolutionize healthcare for the generations to come. And then finally, we will continue to play a very strong leadership role with our healthcare partners of really integrating our programs and services across this region to work towards creating a very seamless system for our patients and families. There's no question we are at a very pivotal time in healthcare, but an exciting one. And over the next decade, we have a once-in-a-generation opportunity to create what I believe is a world-class system. But it's not just for us. More importantly, it's for our kids and the generations to come. But like the past, the future can only be done with this community support. And I'd really like to thank our co-chairs and you, our ambassadors, not only for your support in the President's Breakfast, but more importantly, for your dedication, commitment, and support of both the Ottawa Hospital and healthcare in this community over the last decade. There's no question we can't do this without your support, and your generosity through the President's Breakfast has made a massive impact in this hospital over the years. I've been here for over 20 years now, and I've seen that generosity firsthand as we've developed many, many world-class infrastructure spaces for clinical areas and research environments. But we've also been able to acquire, as a result of that support, some world-class technology. If you take, for example, our CyberKnife or our fluorescent guided microscope related to dealing with neurosurgical cases, we have completely changed the platform and outcomes for patients and families that unfortunately have a variety of different brain-related injuries and/or diseases. Equally, things like our 3D microscope and our surgical robot have completely changed the platform of surgical care for many procedures in this community. We couldn't have done that without this community support. And as I look forward, it is tremendously exciting, the platform that we have, and I look forward to the opportunity to working together to build what I consider as a legacy of world-class care for this community. And speaking of world-class care, I now have the great privilege of being able to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Bernard Thibault. And before I do that, though, we're going to show a short video clip that was taken pre-COVID that really highlights the incredible work that Dr. Thibault has been leading. So thank you very much for your time today, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Thibault.
So I'm Bernard Thibault. I'm a neonatologist, that's a baby doctor, and I'm also a senior scientist at the OHRI. Bronchopulmonary dysplasia is a chronic lung disease in premature babies. These babies that are born too early, as soon as 12 weeks too early, they have lungs that are still underdeveloped, and being exposed to normal oxygen and requiring sometimes mechanical ventilation keeps those babies alive, but also impedes their normal lung growth. So in Canada, 1,000 babies a year suffer from BPD. Our research foresees the use of stem cells that were isolated from the umbilical cord of those babies. And these stem cells can prevent the lung injury or even to some degree regenerate an already damaged lung, at least in the laboratory. And so we foresee that these stem cells given during a certain time during the hospital stay of these babies could prevent the progression of the lung disease. We hope that by treating BPD, we can also prevent brain injury or eye injury. We're the only ones doing this kind of stem cell research, and there's no better place to do it than in Ottawa.
Hello, bonjour. C'est un grand plaisir de vous retrouver aujourd'hui. As you can see, we're trying to write history at the Ottawa Hospital by discovering new therapies that can help the most vulnerable of our patients, tiny babies born too soon. In a moment, I will introduce you to Jamie Ebers, the mother of a young but mighty 4-year-old Olivia, whom I first met in the NICU. Born prematurely at only 500 grams, Olivia has already faced many obstacles and hurdles. Patients like Olivia are the most powerful motivators and fuel our constant drive to find medications that can make these children reach their full potential in life. Her parents, Jamie and Tim, have long been long-standing advocates of our research and remain hopeful that Olivia may too one day benefit from our findings. It's only through your tremendous generosity that these discoveries are feasible. What could be more fulfilling than to help children like Olivia to be their best? And there is no one better than her mom, Jamie, to convey what difference you can make. Over to you, Janet.
Thanks so much, Dr. Thibault. Jamie, thanks also for taking the time to join us again today. Can you maybe share your connection with the Ottawa Hospital?
Yes, sir. Every time I listen to him talk, it makes me cry. About 3.5 years ago, I was pregnant with twins, and I started feeling discomfort. So I went to the hospital and found out later that day that I was not going to leave for some time. I was going into premature labor, and every hour mattered up until the delivery day. I was in labor for an entire week. During that time, we were faced with many scenarios of how this could play out. So I was in a delivery room that entire time, and the doctors were trying to explain their chances of surviving, developmental delays, all of the issues that Dr. Thibault had mentioned. Finally, after 1 week, Liam developed an infection and all three of us were at risk. So the twins needed to be delivered. After their delivery, once they were intubated and settled, they were actually doing better than expected. And we had hope, of course, that hopefully for a normal life. We also have an older son. His name is Jacob, and we had to leave him at home during that time. Sadly, Liam passed away 3 weeks later, unexpectedly. And then immediately after he passed, Olivia became very ill and had to undergo heart surgery. Now, as Dr. Thibault mentioned, the injuries that can happen, when you are intubated, you can paralyze the vocal cord, which happened to Olivia. She was going blind and intervention had to be done. And also she does have developmental delays. And she is catching up, thank you to therapy, but we struggle with that every day. And Olivia spent the first 9 months in hospital, the first 9 months of her life. But we are very grateful for the team at the Ottawa Hospital because they were the ones that helped us during that unimaginable time.
Jamie, when did you meet Dr. Thibault? Tell us about that.
So Dr. Thibault was one of the doctors that cared for Olivia. I met him actually after Olivia's heart surgery, and I met lots of fantastic doctors during that time. We ended up chatting and he told us about his stem cell research. And of course, I couldn't help but ask more questions. And the more I got to know him, the more I got to know about the research, it stuck with me, and almost like that knot in your stomach, wondering what that research would have meant for our family and Olivia, of course. 9 months in the hospital, the first 2 months of her life in and out of the hospital. She was about 2.5 years old the first time I held her and really felt like just her mother and not her caregiver, not her doctor, not her therapist. And that's the life of a child with BPD, bronchopulmonary dysplasia. It's when they're sick, it's different. They're in and out of the hospital. She has a hard time in heat. When she's sick, it can create pneumonia. She ends up in hospital. So I almost a bit jealous. I wish that Liam could have been part of that. Would he have lived today? If Olivia was part of that, maybe her life would be different. So I got to know Dr. Thibault and want to know how I could help with his stem cell research.
And I know I've seen you speak before, and you're very passionate about the hospital. Obviously, you're a champion for his research. Can you share with us why?
I am. I'm curious to see how this could help future babies. I don't want any family to go through what we did. And another example of that would be our older son, Jacob. He witnessed Olivia go through an apnea spell because of her bronchopulmonary dysplasia. And this was at home where she stopped breathing. And he fell to his knees and said, "Mommy, please stop hurting her," when I was trying to stimulate her and my husband was calling 911. And that's the reality for children that suffer bronchopulmonary dysplasia. And it's something that she could suffer for the rest of her life. Now she is healing. She is much better. She was on supplementary oxygen for a very long time, almost a year, the first year of her life. But now she is much stronger and will continue to get stronger. But we are told that she, probably won't go to the Olympics, although we would like to. My husband and I, when we were told that, went, wait, what about archery? She needs a lump, right? I mean, we could think of something. Or maybe the stem cell research, if it's available. We would love to have Olivia part of that and change her life and change that outcome and let her be and do whatever she wants to do and run track and field with her brother and be like every normal child. She's giggling in the background. That's her.
So clearly she's doing better. I know I had the chance to meet her virtually last week, and she's an exceptional little girl.
Yes. Would you Olivia? Would you like to see Olivia?
We would love to.
Olivia, your unicorn. Olivia, like every other child, every other girl, loves princesses and unicorns and tutus. She's a little ballerina. She is doing much better, and her brother are the best of friends. She can't always keep up with him, but she tries. She is awfully determined, and we just hope that one day she will be able to keep up with him, and we hope that other families don't have to suffer the way that we have throughout Olivia's life, and that losing a child, it's more than just that. When you lose a baby, you lose a whole dream. You have an idea of what it's like. You dream about that Olivia and Jacob growing up, or Jacob and Liam growing up as best buddies playing hockey together, and Olivia having her twin, and us with 3 children, and you lose that identity. I'm no longer the mother of twins. So that's why I'm here today talking about Dr. Thibault's research and hoping that this can impact our future and future babies.
Jamie, thank you. Every time I hear you speak, I think, wow, it's such a personal story of Liam and Olivia, and we really appreciate you sharing it with us. I know I'll be thinking of your family, certainly, when I make my contribution. And Dr. Thibault, thank you so much for your dedication. It's exciting to hear about the progress of your research and how someday it may help the tiniest patients cared for at the Ottawa Hospital and around the world. Finally, thank you so much, Cameron Love, for taking the opportunity to join us this afternoon. It's been a pleasure getting to know you a little better, and I think we're all excited to hear about your vision for the Ottawa Hospital at the President's Breakfast in just 4 weeks. That's right, we're 4 weeks away from the President's Breakfast. We mentioned earlier the longevity of this fundraiser and how vital it is to the Ottawa Hospital. With close to $12 million donated through this annual event, we need to build on that this year more than ever, and you have the power to help make that happen. Un gros merci à tous pour tout ce que vous faites. While so much has changed this year, what didn't change was the exceptional care and research that's happening at the Ottawa Hospital into some of the most devastating diseases, including research into COVID-19. That's what you expect from the Ottawa Hospital. And in order for this to continue, community support is needed now more than ever. We're asking you to reach out to your friends and your business network and welcome them to the fundraising event everyone will be talking about this year. I promise you, this will be the most powerful fundraising breakfast for our community in 2020. There will be inspiring stories of survival, and we'll visit state-of-the-art labs where researchers like Dr. Thibault are making groundbreaking discoveries. And we'll get a glimpse of the new curling site where we will make history. Please connect with Cyril or me if you have any questions, and of course the team of the foundation is always here to help. Let's make September 29th the event everyone in Ottawa will be talking about. We're in a unique position this year. While we can't get together in person, we do have the opportunity to invite as many guests as possible. Our virtual room, so to speak, is limitless. While today's call may be on Zoom, and I apologize for my camera issues earlier, the breakfast will definitely look different. It will be a totally unique experience for all those participating. You, the ambassadors, and your guests can join together, chat, and donate right on the screen. To close out today, we're sharing a sneak peek of a promo video for the breakfast. I know it was helpful for me in understanding what to expect and how we are ensuring this will be a unique event for everyone. There will be a new website launch for the event next week, and a link will be shared with all of us from the foundation. All confirmed ambassadors, plus any guests who have already RSVP'd, will automatically be moved over. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us, and as Cyril said, thank you so much for your support. Now over to the video.
thank you again, everyone, for joining us.